come and join us for another episode where we're renovating this old abandoned property and bringing it back to its former glory. If you're new to the channel, I'm Leg, and come and join me as we renovate this huge abandoned property, starting with the landscaping. From hot tub areas to outdoor kitchens and even kennels so I can breed Callie. So hit that subscribe button and come and join us as we take on this massive renovation project. And if that don't tickle your bits, then check out my modified car episodes called Project Aurora. Bruh. Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Leg, and I'm out again today. And as you can see, I'm doing this intro a bit late, so I didn't get a very good intro when we first moved in because everything was all hectic. But we're starting today's series of the property project of doing up this lovely 3-bedroom bungalow. We're going to landscape all the back garden, have hot tub areas, kennels for the dogs, outdoor kitchen, barbecue area, and all sorts. So stay tuned guys, and you'll watch this property go from the state it's been left in to what it's going to be like very soon on the channel. But thanks for watching, and let's show you guys just what this property is like from when we've moved in, and some of the jobs and what we're going to do, and take you guys along for the journey. But let's get into it guys. Up until the first day we got the key, this property had been pretty much neglected for nearly 10 years. As you can see, starting at the front of the property, the driveway was getting completely taken over by weeds, along with the brambles which surrounded the whole property. One of the first jobs to do was cut back the hedge to make it easier for the vehicles to access the property, and jet wash the driveway to get rid of the weeds and all the moss in between. After this, the next job was to tackle the brambles which had overgrown, which lined the perimeter of the property, and hiding away the rotten out fencing what needed replacing. You can see here the brambles had got so big you couldn't even see the gate at the side of the building. After measuring the rotten out gate, we realised that it had to be custom built, so it was time to get to work and start building the new gate. Gate's all completely rotten. We'll need another new gate this side. With some completely wrong measurements and a million cuts later, the new gate was built and ready to fit. Now all what was left to do was trim back the brambles and cut the grass down at the very front of the property and fit a flower border in the meanwhile, until we build the retaining wall and gates in the next couple of months. Now with the front of the property temporarily looking much tidier, until we get a chance to come back and build the raised pond, the retaining walls, and even the gates on the driveway, it's time to head to the back of the property and start this mammoth of a landscaping job. And look at this guys. So this whole section here is going to be a huge patio. We're going to have an outdoor barbecue kitchen area here, a nice seated area on a mosaic patio around about this section here. So all of this needs clearing. You can see this side. I'll show you around this side. Look at the size of this hedge, just a huge hedge taking up most of the garden. So this is all going to be taken out. So we're going to strip everything right back to basics. All new fencing along the side. All of this is coming out, all the trees coming out. This massive conifer here, this is all going to be coming out. We're going to have a large luxury flat lawn here. All of this is all going to be coming out. This is pretty much out already. We'll probably lift the shed and move the shed. This is going to be a large raised concrete area, and this is where is going to be the kennel area. Again, big trees all got come out. You can see we've got some new fencing in bits around, so we'll probably have to get some more fencing on that side too when we take the hedge out. They did say they wanted a summer house somewhere, so we'll see what we've got to work with. But you can see it's just a massive clearance job. So here's some of the episodes what's going to be coming on the channel soon, job by job, and you'll see how we do it. We're going to have to run electrics, water, everything. The whole garden's going to be completely luxury by the time we finished, and a high-end property.
there you have it, guys.
Now if you're one of those absolute legends what's been following along already and watching our renovation episodes, you would have seen we found a massive machete when we've been clearing just some of the mess in this garden, from strimming to even clearing the end where the kennels are about to go.
Oh wow. Look at that, guys. Big old machete in the garden. You see that? It's pretty impressive, isn't it? Very blunt. It's obviously been down there a long time.
And if that wasn't enough to tremble your titties, we also found lots of dead animal skulls and even some live baby nudes.
What do you reckon that was? Do you reckon that's a fox? Fox's skull, I think, there. Still got some teeth in as well. Look at that. Just there on the floor next to the scrap metal pile. Look at that, can you see? He is alive. Can you see that little newt there? So I just found him under some of the wood over there on the floor.
Which brings you up to date with today's episode, where we start to take on the task of getting out this massive conifer bush which runs right down the side of the garden.
Today we're conquering this massive hedge, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to get as much of this out as possible and just slice it down the middle. We're still going to leave a bit in, but we're going to cut most of the way off this hedge. So I thought I'd record it and show you guys a bit of start to finish in today's episode of getting this old property all up together. Let's get into it.
Quick disclaimer guys, whatever you do, if you're using a chainsaw, make sure you use the right PPE and don't copy me unless you're a bit of a bellend.
Bruh. Oh no.
That lasted long.
A few minutes later.
As you can see here guys, the chainsaw really wasn't making that much difference in this hedge, as it was about 10 foot wide and about 23 foot high, and all amongst it was all brambles, all tying it together, so it's really hard to cut down and get out. Now let's play some music and let's speed things up and show you guys the whole process of us getting this bush completely out. And in order to do so, we whipped out the big guns. Some of the tools we were using in order to get through this massive hedge, one of them, the main one, was a Stirl combi tool, which I still had from when I was a landscaper. We were also using chainsaws, loppers, hand saws, garden shears and even an electric mulcher. However, on this job we went through 2 petrol chainsaws, one of which cost nearly £400, and it still couldn't hack the size of this hedge. After breaking the 2 expensive petrol chainsaws on this hedge, we decided to go to B&Q and grab ourselves a cheap electric chainsaw, which was the Bosch brand. It cost less than £100 and come with a spare blade, and that electric chainsaw managed to do nearly all of this hedge just on one blade. So I highly recommend, if you're looking for a chainsaw, save your money, go get an electric one with a wire and just make do with the electrical extension leads, because it was much better than any petrol chainsaw I've used, even when I was a landscaper and I used to use a lot of chainsaws. As you can see, the hedge wasn't giving in easy. It was absolutely packed full of brambles, which was holding it all together, and in total at its tallest point was probably around about 16 foot tall and around about 12 foot wide. Other than the brambles, this type of hedge was a conifer, which we had to take it out completely, because the problem is with this hedge, although it gives you a nice amount of privacy, once it's left to grow to this sort of size, if you go to cut it back quite harshly, it will never grow back again. So therefore we had to take the whole hedge out and replace it with fencing. due to the hedge being so big, it took us about 4 to 5 full days worth of work to completely cut out and get out of the garden. And as you can see in the video, we hit it in 3 sections by just thinning it at first, then cutting the tops off, then taking it down to the ground, and then using a stump grinder. You can see in the video on the bottom right, that is the Bosch electric chainsaw what we were using, because by the time we had got to this point in the hedge, we had already completely knackered 2 proper petrol chainsaws. Which puts it into perspective just how much cutting that electric chainsaw done compared to the petrol ones, when we managed to clear this whole hedge and cut out all the other trees on the other side of the garden with it. I'll leave a link in the description through to the website where we'll put the chainsaw on the website in case you were looking to buy one, because of this one comes highly recommended. The petrol ones I really wouldn't waste your time with. This bad boy was absolutely awesome, especially considering it was a third of the price of a semi-decent petrol one. You'll notice all of a sudden the whole top of the bush is gone. That's because of, for some reason, the whole day we spent cutting the top of the bush off, all my video files ended up corrupt. So all we've got is the footage of once we have got it down and taking this out.
Right guys, as you can see, lots of rubbish, but that is half the bush out. We just got this half to do. Look at that, all coming out right along. And then this new fence in here is going in the gap to seal this off right the way along.
As you can see coming up in a second guys, it's the first time we had an issue with the chainsaw, or we thought we had an issue with this new electric chainsaw. After cutting all this hedge out, it just shows the sheer quality of this brand.
Oh no.
And as it turned out, it wasn't knackered at all, it just needed a couple of cogs twisting, tightening the chain, and we were back to work again.
Right guys, just a quick pan over just what's happened this morning. So you can see holly trees all cut out. We've got a lot of digging and stuff to do here, and you can see now all this space has been cleared here right along all the way up to here. So we've got a heck of a lot of rubbish here, a heck of a lot of logs. Callie's out here. Is that right, Cal? And there's a look back down. So the next job is, this is coming up to 6 foot, the same as this panel here. So right along it's going to be 6 foot. We've got the fencing under the tarp just over there. So our next job is to clear as much of this area and start getting these brackets put on to get the fence up in a couple of days. Right, let's get on with it guys. Right guys, let's show you where we're at the end of the day. You can see the sun's going down just over there. So this is what we've got left. Managed to dig a tree out here, but I've had enough for the day now, so we put the fencing up. As you can see, we've still got lots and lots of rubbish all this side. It's cleared. But yeah, So that's where the fence goes to. We've obviously got a little gap where we've got to make a panel to go in there. You can see all the logs what we've cut today. Huge logs and just piles and piles of bush everywhere. I'll show you some of the stumps we got to grind out today. There's a few down here. There's a big one here. There's some huge ones over here. Got this tree cut down. Absolutely huge beast of a tree. There's a big stump there, and look at the size of this thing. Massive great thing here. Now that's the size of my hand. Sort of give you the idea of just how fat some of these trees are, what we've got to get out. I've started digging a trench here because obviously this whole area back here is all going to need to be a concrete base. So we started getting that out. Lots of rubble, piles of rubble everywhere. The path started coming up here, but we had to stop because we've got to grind this stump out first before we can crack on. The rest of this path's got to come out. Under the blue tarp is all new fence panels to go right along this side, which will be an episode for another day. But let's sit you down and let's get on with the rest of this stump grinding.
In total we had about 28 stumps in the whole garden what we had to grind out. We hired this stump grinder from Beaver Tool Hire and we ended up having it for just one day as it got nearly all of the stumps out completely. The only one it struggled with was the massive one at the end of the garden, where we're probably going to have to get the stump grinder back just to get it down a little bit lower. But after a long old day of stump grinding, it was time to place the railway sleepers and line the edge of the garden with the railway sleepers in order to support the weight of the raised lawn. We rotavated the whole raised lawn area and ended up moving a lot of the topsoil from the end of the garden, which was too high where the kennels were going to be, which then meant that we had saved a huge amount of money in topsoil. That's why there were these large piles of mud which were around the area of the trenches which we had pre-dug ready for the railway sleepers. We managed to get the whole row on the left hand side of fencing up in just one day. However, it took a lot longer than that to paint it all. You can also see the massive 60-foot tree what was in the left corner at the end of the garden has been removed. That was way too big for me to do, so it cost us nearly $2.5 grand just to get it cut down.
Let's show you just what we've got here, what's going on here. So at the moment we have the railway sleepers ready to go in, and we've already pre-dug the trenches, as you can see. Now these trenches are lined with type 1 MOT sub base, and all we're doing is we're pouring in the cement, and on this railway sleeper I'm going to bang 3 screws in on the bottom just so it binds into the cement a bit better. Then I'm going to place it in and we're going to line it up and get it completely flush and level along with this railway sleeper here, which I already set in this morning. There's some we did the other day, but I didn't have my camera on me, so we didn't have a chance to film it. But we're going to film as much as we can today before my memory all runs out on the camera. So this is what's going on. I'm just going to grab some screws.
In total we've had to order about 100 railway sleepers in order to get the whole garden done. That's including all the sleepers for the planters, the sleepers what line the hot tub area, and having sleepers go around the whole edge of the perimeter of the back garden.
So this area here is going to be the hot tub area. We're going to be stoning this, and you can see where we've started building our pergola, but it's not quite finished yet. So that's where we're at with this section here, and you can see we've got a couple of sleepers making planters, and this is going to be our raised grass area. We've also done the slabbing with Crystal Marie the other day for the steps, yet to fill in with the stone in the gaps. And this is going to be the whole area we've got a turf today. Now we've prepped it all already with topsoil. It's been fully rotivated and as flat as we can get it for now until the turf turns up. So that's where we're at with that. Again, we've got another planter here. These have yet to come up, another one yet. And again, we've got to sort this step out. So this step is going to be like the front step over there. And this is our other planter, and you can see this is where we're at with the kennel area and the shed areas so far. Right guys, so as you can see, our turf has just turned up. We're going to start wheelbarrowing it through, and I'm going to start laying it. Do you want to wheelbarrow and lay, or do you want to lay and I'll wheelbarrow?
You lay, I will wheelbarrow.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Put it.
Well, just start dumping it here. It's going to be used anyway, isn't it? So the idea of laying turf, what we want to be doing is we want to be tucking the edges. If I bring you around here and just put you there, tip you guys down so you can see what I'm doing. So just here on this edge, you can see this is our roll of new turf, and this edge we don't want a gap because it will dry out in the corners. So we want to butt it up. Let's put you on there. So we're going to butt this edge up as far as we can, like so, and we're going to tuck this edge in, almost causing a crimp, getting it nice and tight on both sides, tucking the edge in. So we don't want it flaring up, you want it in nice and tight, like so. As you can see, now we might have a crimp here, but what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to cut a little bit off if I need to. So now I'm going to lay my board on top, just like so. I'm just going to haven't got any thicker boards, so this is going to have to do today. And that is our first piece of turf put down. 175 to go. And I've got the spirit level. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to basically, all this ground has been rotivated. Any weeds we're going to pull up out of it, which have pretty much been pulled out anyway. Throw them over there. Now you can see some low spots and some high spots. So I'm just going to scrape this back and fill in any low spots that are in the ground with the level like so, by eye. It's not got to be perfect, but the closer I can get it, the better. Well, and again, what I'm going to do is I'm almost going to overlap the turf, as you can see just here. Let's bring you up here, guys. I'll show you on the first view just what I'm doing, and then after that I'm just going to crack on and you'll see it from a distance. So you can see the join here. Now I'm going to slightly raise this one, and we're going to slightly raise this one. We want them almost really sandwiched and squashed together. So let's show you what I mean. So pull this one over, I'm going to go both up and squash down, and almost use our fingers to tuck that in so they're not hanging out above each other, they're sandwiched next to each other. Same along this back edge, because we don't want any of the edges drying out, because it's the edges what are most likely to dry out. So So can you see this gap here? So I'm going to push this over this way a bit more. There we go, like that, and close that gap up. Squash it in, just like that. Definitely recommend a nice sharp knife for cutting. This is the one we're using today. This is my camping knife, as you can see. If you're interested in finding a nice decent camping knife like this, then be sure to check out our website.
As I'm sure many of you already know, the key is when you get some new turf that you don't let it dry out. So here's a couple of tips for you guys just in case you ever want to turf your garden. We'll start off with some of the best times of year to lay turf. The best time to lay your turf is during the spring or autumn, when the rain will help the new grass establish its roots in time for the summer. When laying turf, it's best practice to try not to walk on it, as your footprints can make divots in the turf. That's why you'll see in the video we've got a long board of wood and we're squashing and packing it down using that beam of wood. It's best practice to try and encourage your turf to grow its roots into the soil as quick as possible and as deep as possible. So what we've done is we've rotivated the soil before we laid the turf to make sure it's nice and soft and fresh, ready for the turf to take straight to the soil. However, make sure you don't forget to rake the soil flat so you have a nice flat lawn. When laying the turf, it's very important that you almost overlap it by tucking it in, just like I did earlier on in the video. This should allow it to not dry out by keeping the edges all nice and butted up flush, as the turf is most likely to dry out on the edges. Bear in mind that a grass plant is normally 80% water, so make sure you water your new turf very regularly and never let the ground dry out.
Now you can see we've built the pergola, we've got these huge planters. We've yet to fill this one and plant some plants in it, but it's all lined and ready to go. We've got the steps ready, and the steps at the back. Let's show you these steps. We've got some grey Indian sandstone slabs here, what we've laid just here, and today we're going to be filling in all the stone in these gaps in these areas, and underneath the pergola we're going to be finishing off this hot tub area. Now this is where we're at so far, but the stone has just come on a lorry and it's delivered out the front, so you can see just here. This is where we're at so far. Got to pull some roots out, lay some membrane, and then we're going to start running the stone in and laying the stone in here, in this back step which we've done as well, and this step here, and the step at the end of the garden. So yeah, let's cut the waffle. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and come and join us whilst we're doing this whole project, and I'll take you out the front and let's show you the stone we've got to go in this back garden. So this is called polar ice, and you can see it's a grey with a nice white. So that's the stone we've got going in, and that's what most of the garden's going to be done in. I think it looks really nice. What do you think? Yeah, nice looking stone. So
You can see here I'm about to lay membrane. This is to act as a weed barrier to stop any rogue weeds growing up through the bottom of the hot tub area. What I do is I actually double up the sheets of membrane just to make it a bit thicker and a bit hardier to hold back them weeds.
So guys, as you can see, that's the membrane down right around this whole area. Time to get this stone in. You can see what she looks like with the stone whacked down. ready for the hot tub to go in.
In total we used 2 tons of polar ice stone in order to go all around the steps what we've put in already and the hot tub area. However, loads more of the garden, as you can see, is yet to be finished. So stay tuned, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and check out some of our next episodes coming, which is going to be down the end building kennels, replacing and ripping up the whole patio around the hot tub area, and much more from front gates and inside the property to do this year. But I'm Leg, thanks for watching guys, really appreciate you here joining the channel, and I will catch you on our next adventure. Bye guys.